Y'all, Tana and Vanna from Love Island are both speaking out about their little drama that they had online, which I already made a video about before. If you guys have not checked it out, I am going to give you guys a little bit of context here, okay? And let me try to like summarize it very, very fast. Tana had made a video, I guess it was titled, okay, don't quote me on this. Damn, I just forgot the name. I think it was titled like 27 things I learned in 27 years, or I don't know, something, 27 something something she learned, okay? Basically like her just going over things that she's learned in her life. And basically within that video that she had made, she did make a comment about Vanna because I guess she was getting so much heat online for the way she looked. And I gotta keep it real with you guys. And you know what's so crazy? Like, thinking of my last video that I made about this, I didn't even mention about how much hate that she was getting because a lot of people really were thinking that she was, one, much older than what she really is, and then two, they thought that like she had way too much work done, which I gotta keep it real with you guys because I try my hardest, okay, if I'm being so, look, I'm being so real, okay, and I'm sure I'm gonna get hate for this. I try my hardest to not like look at people and be like, oh damn, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's just like a natural reaction to being like, whoa. And I'm gonna keep it real. When I did see Vanna on TV, I was like, oh, whoa, like she's had a whole lot of work done. And then there was a viral clip with, I want to say the last time that I had saw it, it had like 7.8 million views of like a mom and daughter. Okay, I don't even know if it was a mom and daughter. It was two girls. Let me just say that. Okay, it seemed like a mom and daughter though. They were watching Love Island, and as soon as it said like, oh, I'm Vanna and I'm 21, they jumped up out of their couch and like were overreacting, finding out that she was only 21 because so many people on the internet thought that she was much older. So she was receiving a lot of hate, you know, for that. I got to keep it real. Like at first when I did see her, I was like, oh, damn, like that's a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? However, it is very disheartening online because I don't think what a lot of people realize is that when you look at somebody like that and say, for example, okay, because come to find out that she really didn't have too much work done. And actually, if you guys watched my first video, there were, oh my gosh, how did a fly get in here? Oh no. For those of you that have been around for a long time, okay, if you guys don't remember when I used to like film in my garage, that was my studio, literally all the time I would be like, oh, it's my little guest Mosca over here. Like, what the hell? Anyways, if you guys didn't check out that video, I don't know if it was her or production of the Vile Files podcast, somebody, or maybe it was just a TikTok user, they put like all of her high school photos, and I guess naturally she's just always had like, you know, very big cheekbones, you know, and then she did say that she did get her lips done. I just think that sometimes it's very unfortunate, you know, that we live in times to where if somebody does have naturally big cheekbones, you just automatically think, oh my gosh, like that's a lot of filler. And then I think, okay, in my personal opinion, when you have like big cheekbones and then you end up getting big lips, like, you know, and then you admit to that, then it's kind of like, oh, well, maybe you did get all this done, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, turns out that she is actually, you know, this is just her natural face besides her lips. I think that was the only thing that she said that she did get done. I think a lot of people were like, you know, giving her a lot of shit online. And Tana, it's so crazy because you could have the best intentions with your words. However, if sometimes people are going to hear what they're going to hear, y'all know recently I talked out about that. People are just going to hear certain things, even when it's like, what? That's not even my intention. Like, I didn't even say anything along the lines. Tana was speaking out in her video of just saying like, you know, we need to look at more people like this with love. And she did make a comment of saying, you know what, sometimes it may be like medical malpractice. Like some doctors out there, some, you know, cosmetic doctors out there really do need to put the needle down and say, hey, no, like your lips are already full enough, hey, your cheeks are already big enough, or whatever the case may be. Because I do think it is unfortunate that there are some doctors out there that they look at every single client of theirs as a paycheck, and it's just kind of like, okay, would you rather ruin your reputation or get that paycheck? Because me, if I was, you know, an injector out there, I'd be like, oh, like honestly, I'm not comfortable doing your lips any bigger than this because it is starting to look, you know, a little ridiculous, you know, and you do got to keep it real with your patients out there. But there are a lot of doctors out there that are just kind of like, oh, well, I'm going to charge this person, you know, $600 for their lips and I got to do their lips. You know what I mean? So Tana was speaking out about that. And then she was also saying too that, you know, some parents out there are allowing their underage children to get certain procedures done, whether that be lip filler, cheek filler, Botox, all these different things. And it's like, oh my gosh, you're way too young for that. And she was speaking from a standpoint of love, of like, no, like we really need to, you know, be a little bit more caring towards people who, say, for example, want to have certain things done and, you know, obviously try to like talk them out of it. And obviously she's somebody who has had a lot of work done too. That's why she's speaking out about it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because she does feel like she has done a little too many things too soon in her life. And this is where I'm just kind of like, I watched her video and I was like, oh, I could see that she's coming from a place of love. However, Vanna didn't see it that way because somebody had clipped a portion of it to where Tana did look like she was, you know, making it seem that she was talking out about Vanna's parents and whatnot, and kind of making it seem as if, you know, her parents allowed her to get work done. But it was totally taken out of context, of course. This is why I'm just like, oh my gosh, 9 times out of 10, context is key, and it just sucks that we do live in a fast-paced society now, or I should say a fast social media society now, to where people see a clip on TikTok and they don't want to go and watch the full video. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I do want to go ahead and play a clip because now Tana's speaking out about this, because I guess apparently this situation has transpired into something so much bigger than what it is, and I guess she felt the need to speak out about it on her podcast, which, can I just tell you guys, I thought her podcast was over. I'm a little confused here because I thought that she decided to break the contract and decided to just call it, you know, a wraps on the podcast, but I'm like, wait, another podcast came up. I'm a little tripped out now. So I'm gonna actually split this up into two different pieces because I do want to go ahead and play this clip to you guys, for you guys, in the very beginning, to where she was kind of like speaking her train of thought on it. Check it out.
I upload a video. 27 things I've learned at 27.
It's very beautiful. I've seen a lot of it.
Thank you. In the video, one of the lessons that I discussed that I had personally learned for myself was think about changing your appearance before you do it. I think I spent a lot of my life getting injectables. This was just one of my personal lessons. And it's not that I'm against facial alteration at all. Like, I still get a lip flip now and again. And I talked about how this was right at the time it was happening as well. About how Vanna went on Love Island. She comes on Love Island, and I'm scrolling through my For You page, and I am seeing mass amounts of hate to this woman. And the things that people are saying are overuse of filler. I'm seeing mass amounts of hates. The end of my sentiment was about how someone who is in her position should be met with more love. I also do say in the video that I don't know like why or how that happened, but maybe some of the factors could have been poor practitioners and or poor parenting. And I stand on the fact that if people are giving copious amounts or just, even just fillers, I don't know, in general maybe, to people under the age of 18, I do not align with that parenting style personally. I do think that is poor parenting to let your daughter under 18 make a bunch of decisions to her face all at once. Like, I think about all the things we wanted when we were like 16 and 17 and how those change. I say this, somebody clips it on TikTok and they clip the first half of what I said. She duets the clip. I comment on the video, and there are also comments on her video being like, did you see all of what Tana said? There's also a lot of comments that are her fans and they're being like, I can't believe Tana would say this because the clip is so mean. And then people thinking that I'm coming from a hypocritical place. Like, how is she going to say that? She's had 9 different faces. You don't think I'm well aware that I've had 9 different faces and I'll probably have a 10th by next year? Like, I would never come from a hypocritical standpoint. I was coming from a wanting to help people standpoint. And if you see the whole clip, you know that. You know what I mean?
So there you guys can see from right there, she was obviously coming from a place of love, but obviously, look, I'm sure we've all been there before, myself included, especially recently, that sometimes when you say some things, people just hear certain words and they focus on those certain words. And say, for example, if you have a insecurity about something, or if you're emotional about something, whatever it may be, when you hear certain words, then you're just kind of like triggered by it, and therefore everything else is just blacked out, you know, which is very unfortunate. This is why I say sometimes people really need to be a little bit more rational, a little less emotional. I'm a Pisces, okay, so I don't want to hear any of you guys talking about it, okay? I understand at the end of the day, sometimes our emotions do get the best of us, but I think being rational, you know, and actually like sitting there and looking at things for what they are is better than jumping to conclusions on things, because honestly, I really do feel like Tana was coming from a good place, okay? Well, now, okay, I want to go ahead and play another part of the clip right there, is because I guess she is speaking out about it, that I guess Vanna had hit her up and said, like, it was kind of conflicting in my personal opinion. I guess like she had hit her up and said like, oh, like she didn't like that she said a certain thing, and then she kind of made it seem like she didn't want to talk about it. But, or sorry, didn't want to like watch the rest of the clip, which I was like, ooh, it sounds like they're going to beef a little bit more. But then, okay, I'm going to piece it together, by the way, because it's way too long of a clip. So I am going to jump to the end of it, because I guess in the end, I guess Vanna ended up saying like, hey, I ended up watching the video in its entirety and I saw where you're coming from. Although you said some things that I, of course, didn't want to hear. I still, you know, were like, okay, this is not that bad. You know what I mean? So basically she came to the conclusion of everything's fine. But then, y'all, okay, literally just, I want to say 2 days ago, I saw this clip of Vanna talking about Tana on TikTok, and I was like, oh, I thought, okay, but once again, okay, because the clips that I'm breaking up for you guys, by the way, I got them from TikTok, and it's actually an 8-minute clip, okay? So I don't know if Vanna is just seeing another clip of Tana's podcast, but she is not very happy about it, that she was reading the DMs between them, and I'm just kind of like, oh, because if you actually watch like to the end, Brooke even said like, oh, I feel like that's a really nice message that she wrote to you. And Tana even said, yeah, I think so too. Like everything ended peachy keen. But then now I'm just kind of like, oh, Vanna's talking about her in a not positive way on TikTok. I'm like, damn. Anyways, but check out this clip right here from Tana.
I said, I hope you saw the rest of what I said. OMG, I DM'd her. And she responds and she said, that's all I was tagged in. And I was like, what is happening here? And then I was like, okay, you know what, shit. Like, if that's all I was tagged in, especially I'm thinking about me at 21. Like, I'm duetting out of that. And 100%. I'm seeing me at 21 as well. I don't know her. I'm speaking on me at 21. I'm farming it, like I'm clip farming it and I'm responding to just that thing and whatever that, a couple hours later, and I was doing something. I didn't see her. That's all I was tagged in yet. She sends me another DM and she said, I really do feel like you did this with good intention to start, but saying the casting directors have to do this. It's literally you insinuating no one would look the way I look and you dropping the overfilled line. It's not giving, I'm looking out for you. It's just giving flat out mean.
Wait, what are you talking about the producers? What did you say about producers?
I made a TikTok in my reacting to Love Island series as well. I just feel like I am like decently versed in the world of casting directors and reality television. I know a decent amount about it and what they do, and they do cast people so that the internet can say a million things. And there was a part of me that thinks,
God, how horrible.
That because she was getting so much hate, and a part of me is like, why would, like, if you thought that this could potentially harm the mental health of a young girl, why maybe cast her? I do just think that side of the industry is very dark. They don't give a fuck about, and I'm not saying the Love Island people in general, I'm saying a lot of casting directors for most reality television, they don't care that these people are getting the hate. They want good television.
Yeah.
In my opinion. She continues, and the awful parenting line, regardless of what you said after, is too much for my taste. Talk about me in any way I will. Get over it. But my family, ? Low blow. Honestly, I've loved growing up watching your videos, but when I heard you made a video talking about me, I was excited but extremely let down as soon as I watched it. And I don't know why the low blow family thing had me like irate. Because I'm like, I would never come for someone's family unless they're coming for me low blowing and we're fighting like that. I would, no, but like, I don't align with that parenting style if that's what happened. I'm not coming for, there's such a difference in coming for someone's family and saying that I don't think that letting children get filler is good parenting style. Also, her saying in this message, you dropping the overfilled line, it's not giving I'm looking out for you, it's giving flat out mean. And so what you said after, it's too much for my taste. So essentially she's insinuating that she like refuses to go watch what I said after. I said, when speaking about the casting directors, I was speaking in reference to the mass hate. They were well aware of how the masses would pick apart every single person on that show when casting them, which is why I often think that side of the industry can be dark. I wasn't attacking your parents as people, Vanna. I don't know the full story. However, if they allowed you under 18, which I don't know if they did, to get multiple fillers, I stand on the fact that I don't personally align with that parenting style. If that's a low blow in your eyes or perception, then so be it. I personally consider other types of remarks to be low blows. Me not aligning with the parenting style is not a low blow in my eyes. If you watch the full context of what I was saying in that clip, I hope you understood and saw the entire message and understood I was coming from a place of wanting nothing but love to be shown to you, including for me. I have had many fillers and faces in my lifetime. It would be hypocritical to come from any other place than love. And if you can't even watch the full clip in context because you're misinterpreting what I said about parenting, then this entire conversation is falling on mute ears. And then she responds and she said, just deep dove into the full thing. The video was not what I thought it was, first off. And second, I'm sorry on my end for reacting that fast without gathering with all context. There were still a little harsh words in there that of course I didn't want to hear, but that doesn't put you in the wrong. Also, just know I did not start getting it filler at 16. Whoever started that rumor also said my mom was my injector. Also false. As soon as I watched the video, I ripped my video down. There's zero reason that there should be hate on either end of this. Someone made a comment and said this is Vanna in 5 years, and that deadass made me lock in and watch the video outside of my perspective, and I realized I've been in defense mode for so long.
Yeah, I really actually like that response a lot.
Yeah, and I think for 21, such a mature response.
So there y'all see from right there, like, ooh, at first it seemed like it was going to be some beef, but then towards the end, they both really liked her response, and it really did seem like, okay, the beef is squashed, okay? Here's where things get very, very... I cannot believe that this fly is still flying around here. Like, oh my God, how did it even get in here? This is where things are getting super messy because now I wonder if Tana's just kind of like, okay, well, screw you, Vanna. You know what I mean? Because it seems if they squash their beef... But then she's on this, like, I believe it was a TikTok live, and she's just like, oh my gosh, like, Tana's over here reading all of our DMs like it's Shakespeare. Like, I just don't get it. And I'm like, oh, damn. I do have to say this, though. Okay, look. I could understand where Vanna's coming from because, look, I do got to keep it real. I'm going to sound bipolar right now, okay? Stick with me, though. But this is where I say, like, there has to be some Libra in me. So I need somebody to, like, read my freaking chart here because I don't know what it is about me that I'm always seeing both sides of the story. Like, I really am. Because within this situation, I got to keep it real with you guys. If I was Vanna, I'd be like, damn, girl, like, why are you reading all of our DMs like that? Like, we're squashing this beef between you and I. Like, why are you reading that publicly? So there would be a side of me that I would be a little bit bothered of like, okay, like, damn, did I give you permission to read these DMs? And low-key, I would almost feel like that is like, you know, a bit much. Like, it's like, okay, I get it. You have a podcast. But then there's that other side of me, okay? Hear me out here, is because one, Tana does have a podcast, and two, this drama was already made public that already went viral on TikTok. So there is the other side of me that's kind of like, okay, well, obviously Tana feels the need to speak out about this because it did blow up on TikTok. We're talking millions of views, and it made Tana look so bad, and what she was saying was completely taken out of context. So I felt like she felt the need to kind of like speak out about it and be like, okay, like we cleared the air. So now I'm just kind of like, damn, I'm stuck because I do totally understand, you know what I mean? But I guess maybe at the end of the day, Tana could have just let it go and not read the DMs. But sometimes I do feel like that is hard because obviously if your audience thinks that you're, you know, like bullying Vanna or speaking badly about Vanna, like obviously you're going to want to clear things up to your audience. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I'm telling you guys, I'm like, I'm stuck in the middle on this because I could totally understand where Vanna is coming from in the aspect of like, girl, why are you reading our DMs? But then I'm also like, well, like it was already made public. So let's go ahead and, you know, make it public that we squashed the beef. But now it seems like Vanna is kind of bothered about that, and maybe the beef is not really squashed. Check out this clip right here.
Tana just keeps talking about me in her podcast. Like, I thought we, like, cleared stuff up in our DMs, and then girls on there, like, reading our DMs like it's fucking Shakespeare. I don't know what's going on. But, I mean, Tana's cool, but I'm just like, bro, just freaking knock it off. Wrap it up.
Knock it off. It's
Wrap it up.
knock it off like she's 4.
Honestly, y'all, I don't know what to make of it. I kind of feel like Vanna is a little bit pressed about it. And I do feel like because Tana... Look, I gotta keep it real, okay? I feel like at least Tana is, like, super upfront. By the way, I didn't even mention earlier, like, when she was talking about the DMs that she sent to Vanna, I was like, hey, at least she kept it real to her. And she was like, look, that's my opinion. And if you think it's harsh, so be it. I was like... Period. I love somebody who really stands by their opinion and doesn't fold to somebody, because at the end of the day, it's like if somebody hits me up and they're like, oh, I don't like you said this in a video, and I'm like, okay, well, that's my opinion. Like, what would you like me to say about it? I'm so sorry. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to take it back. I'm not going to retract it. It is what it is. So I like that she, you know, doubles down on it. So I do think that Tana low-key is probably going to be a little bit pressed that she sees this clip, you know what I'm saying, of Vanna saying like, oh, she's reading our DMs in the damn podcast like it's Shakespeare. I'm like, she seems a little bit bothered about it, you know what I'm saying? Which I think kind of, you know, sucks to Tana then, because Tana in her eyes is like, okay, we squashed the beef, and Vanna's like, no, girl, now you're over here reading my DMs. I don't know, I get both sides. I really do when it comes down to that. I get both sides because I'm like, oh, damn, it's a tricky situation. Anyways, make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions about everything. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scout.